So we have yet another problem with our pool. Yes, we did it on purpose. We let it get green so we could make this video. Or I just accidentally let it happen. Either way, we're gonna fix this and make this swimmable again. So to get started, we're gonna go over what we need to make this happen. First of all, you're gonna need a test kit. Other thing you're gonna need is shock, and a whole heck of a lot of it. So we got 6 1-pound bags for this job. You're also gonna need this product called Blue to Green. This stuff is gonna help kill the algae along with the shock on that very first night. You're also gonna need some DE, the diatomaceous earth, or a new filter cartridge, depending on what your filter is like. A nice stiff brush with a handle on it. And last but not least, don't forget this, because this will play a huge factor. You'll need normal pool chemicals, so some chlorine, some acid, and some soda ash to adjust your chemicals as necessary. So the first step, very important, make sure to test your pool water to make sure your chemicals are perfect in there first. If your chemicals aren't balanced properly, none of this other stuff is gonna matter. So we'll go ahead and get that done first. So we'll go ahead and get a sample. It's important to go down 1 foot into the water to make sure you get a nice good sample. Empty it and then do it a second time. Now, just make sure to follow your instructions in your box to make sure to test the water properly. Also, make sure you take the top of that tester, get it washed with pool water to make sure it doesn't contaminate any of the tests with old water or gunk that's gotten on there from the past. Tip this up right a few times and look up at the sky. And just as I suspected, it's got about 0 chlorine and a super high pH. So we're first gonna go ahead and get some chlorine added to the pool, as well as some muriatic acid to not only raise our chlorine levels, but to lower our pH levels and to help the shock perform as best as possible. In this case, I've got granulated chlorine. You can either use this or the tablets. I've used the tablets primarily for a long time, but I figured I'd try something different because I'm obviously having issues with this. So I'm using the chlorine that's granulated, and it calls for about a pound per 10,000 gallons. Our pool is about 15,000 gallons. We use approximately 1.5 pounds. So this is 8 pounds. So I don't know, a little less than a quarter. So the next thing we're gonna do right now is make sure to turn the pool pump on and set it to run for 24 hours straight. So it's gonna be running for about a week straight to get this all done perfectly. And then we're gonna wait until it gets a little bit darker and we'll go on with the next step. By the way, if you guys don't have a variable speed pump, you really need one. Yes, they can run upwards of about $1,000. That's about what we spent on this one, but they will pay for themselves in electricity savings in about 1.5 years. So there is a link below to this one if you want. All right, so now that it's a little bit later in the evening, almost dark, we're gonna use 2 different types of chemicals on night 1. And that is green to clean, as well as 2 pounds of shock. Now, the green to clean we'll only use once on the first night, and the shock we're gonna use 2 pounds each night for 3 total nights. When we apply this green to clean, this has 2 pounds. We're gonna use this whole tub for our entire pool of 15,000 gallons. Then what we're gonna do is wait 5 minutes while the pump is circulating to get everything spun up, and then we're gonna add our 2 pounds of shock. Now, if you had a bunch of algae that you could see on the sides that was built up and growing, you'd use your steel brush that you saw earlier. In our case, we can't see anything yet, so we're just gonna use our green to clean and shock tonight, and then we'll see how it does. So it's important to wait 5 minutes after you put in the green to clean to add the shock, because you don't want them to necessarily integrate together while they're in their crystalline form. So we're gonna give it 5 minutes, and then we'll add our 2 pounds of shock. Now that it's been 5 minutes after adding the green to clean, we're gonna add our 2 pounds of shock, trying to distribute this as much across the pool as possible. Now, I do try and get more of it down towards the deep end just because there is more water down there, but it'll all work itself out in the end. So now, basically, we'll wait and see how this does. We'll do this, add the 2 pounds of shock every night for 2 more nights. If we're seeing some sort of clarity in the pool and we do see a bunch of algae on the sides, we need to use that scrubber to scrub off the algae as much as possible. So with that being said, we'll see you guys in a few days. So now we're on day 2, we've let 24 hours pass, and as you can tell, the pool is looking a lot better already. It's definitely not looking like as dark green, and I can start to see the bottom in there, so that's definitely a plus. So tonight, we're gonna do a very similar thing to what we did last night and add 2 pounds of shock. We aren't gonna add green to blue, just the 2 pounds of shock. And once again, just like last night, if you can start to see a bunch of gunk that is on the walls or on the floor, use that brush that you got and brush all of it off. We'll come back and check with you for day 3 when we're gonna add our final 2 pounds of shock. Tonight will be the last night we're doing shock. We're doing our last 2 pounds of shock tonight. And then tomorrow we're gonna use another chemical I forgot to mention earlier, and that is Clear Aid. That stuff will basically settle stuff out in the pool, help clear it out, but we'll talk more about that tomorrow. For now, we're gonna get our 2 pounds of shock added. Thanks again, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, well, it is officially day 4. So basically no shock or any of that today, but what I did do already is I did hop in the pool. It's the first day I felt comfortable at least getting in the pool. And I used my brush to kind of suction it up, and I used it by hand and moved it around because I was in there with some goggles and kind of scraped it up, and I had a little fun too while I was down there because I haven't been in the pool in a while. The other thing I did is use the brush along the top edge just to make sure all of the grime and all of the algae and everything was off the top. The other thing that I did this morning was I used a product called Clear Aid. You can get a similar product at about any pool supply store. I got this one at Leslie's. This is one that will over 4 to 24 hours coagulate all the different junk, particles, proteins, everything else that's still left in the pool that's causing it to be cloudy to clear up. So you use approximately 2 ounces per 1,000 gallons, and in this case we have 15,000 gallons, so we used approximately half the bottle, or about 32 ounces. About 4 hours after that, we're gonna use a second product, and this will be the final product that we use in cleaning up this pool. And that's something called No-Phos. This stuff is awesome, and what it does is it actually will kill all the phosphates in the pool. This is important because the algae that was in this pool or in the water was actually feeding off of phosphates, and so by putting in No-Phos, it kills the phosphates. The algae will have nothing to grow on and nothing to be able to live off of. So it'll actually prevent algae from growing in the future. This stuff is the same dosage rate as that Clear Aid, so we'll use 2 fluid ounces per 1,000 gallons, so about 32 ounces, so about half this bottle, or 8 capfuls. You'll actually be able to tell this stuff is working because when you put it in the pool, it'll kind of change color to a light blue, almost cloudy stuff. But that actually means it's working. It'll dissipate and it'll help continue to clear out the pool. So we just added that Clear Aid this morning, phosphates color this afternoon. So by tomorrow, the pool should be nice and clean. We'll do 1 more vacuum and 1 more sweep, and then our pool will be good to go. So it is now day 6 of working on our pool. We've let that Clear Aid and that No-Phos sit for 2 to 3 days now, and as you can tell, it's looking a lot better. Actually, it's about perfect. So as you can tell, there is a little bit of sediment and stuff on the bottom of the pool. That's from the Clear Aid, because what it does is it clumps up all of that proteins and all of the algae and gunk that's in there that's clouding up your pool, and it coagulates it together and it forms on the bottom of the pool. So the only thing we have left to do is we're gonna skim the top real quick. All right, now that the skimming is done, we'll give a quick vacuum to get all the gunk up off of the base of the pool, and then we'll be ready to swim in it. All right, well, that is pretty much it. The pool, as you may notice, might look a little cloudy still, and that's normal because while you're vacuuming this stuff up, it does stir up some of the stuff that doesn't get sucked up immediately into the vacuum. So you may have to do this 2 or 3 days in a row to get it all cleared out. The one thing left that you have to do is make sure to clean out your filter. If you have a DE filter, make sure to rinse everything out, get all of that old DE and all of the junk that we suctioned up out of your system and replace it with new diatomaceous earth. So to review here for our 15,000 gallon pool, on day 1, we used 2 pounds of green to blue. Wait 5 minutes and then use 2 pounds of shock, making sure to scrub the pool if needed. Day number 2, use 2 more pounds of shock and scrub as needed. Day number 3, use 2 more pounds of shock and scrub some more. Lots of scrubbing, yes, I know. Then on day 4, in the daytime, you're going to use your Clear Aid. In this case, we use 16 ounces because it's 2 ounce
per 1,000 gallons of water. And then that evening, you're gonna use no phos. Similar dosing, 2 ounce per 1,000 gallons of pool, so we use 32 ounces. Then you're gonna wait anywhere between 4 hours to 2 to 3 days like we did, and then you're gonna vacuum that pool pump once more and clean out your filter, and you're good to go. So this may seem like a lot of work, but I've done this a few times because of various reasons. Mostly I've forgotten to take care of the pool, but this is definitely the easiest way. And the best way that you can actually prevent this from happening is to use that no phos, because it kills all of that food that algae eats. But as well, make sure you check your chemicals on the regular basis, at least once a week, if not twice a week. If you keep your pool balanced and you keep shocking it on a regular basis, you won't have the problem of algae to deal with. So thanks guys for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure to check out some of the other videos that are on the sides here from our channel, and we'll see you guys next time.